Hello world, Patricia O'Connor and one Frida Reba Darcy here, and today I'm gonna do we're gonna do a little look at our balcony here in a second. It's too nice a day to not be out there, but I thought I would show you give this a minute and show you how this is all playing out. That is eight little babies started so far out of 10. A few more days to allow some more to come up. If I see those other two, we'll go ahead and we'll start our other round of 10. I don't know if any of those still had beans from the last go around that maybe the birds missed. So it's possible to see something come up volunteer that we don't know about. But I think at this point, I've got 8 of the 10 seeds that I popped coming up here, and we can go ahead and get started on our next round, probably later on tonight. So that takes us now to Miss Frida is anxious to show you the balcony. Our lights are down. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We're cooling our jets. Everything is in shadow somewhat. I've rotated our larger trees. This guy just got rotated. This side was facing out. I'll go through here. Well, I could do that now. Go through here and start clipping a few of these ends back. Also, this particular branch right here is from a time when I didn't know the best way to get these guys to push out new growth. When this branch grew, we were growing a lot of branches like it that were growing long and then putting out stuff on the end. Time's up for this guy. I'm probably about to give it a clip to here. If not back to here. There for a long time when I was growing this tree, I was trying to get it to fill out more. And I thought that if I just, did right with the water and then gave it good light and all that, it would do that. It wouldn't. It was really sporadic. So I didn't feel like whether I had a good limb or a bad limb, I could get rid of any limbs. It's like, well, we're going to take what we got right now, kind of an attitude. After that, I got on the program with regular feeding and upped my watering of the guy a little bit. And that also then started pruning with having been told to. I then started pruning back a little bit with some confidence, and the results were night and day. The tree is starting. Had I started doing that, well, we had some dieback a year ago that we're also coming back from, so it wouldn't be safe to say that if I'd have been doing that all along. But I do bet that if I'd have been feeding it all along, I probably wouldn't have had that dieback either. This is a good time to prune back some of this new stuff that's just been growing since it was facing on the outside. We're not going to cut it back much, just the part where it elongates, and we'll probably get another flush out of it. What say I just go over here and grab, I'll use this. I'll keep this in the neighborhood in case I need it. I don't really think I should need anything that heavy. Yeah, and I'm doing this even though I've already said we're going to be talking pines here in a minute. Won't kill us to do this. Found the dull spot on my scissors just then. So if you look, you can see these little shoots coming out here. They don't take very long to start really elongating out. And I'll look at it like, well, I always try to, when you start to see them stretching out, the distance between here and here, one round of leaves to another round of leaves is a node. And at some point you will start to see that the distance in between those nodes begins to really stretch out and increase. We don't need that. I chop them back to before that starts happening as much as possible. Also, I can do that now where I didn't feel as confident doing that before, because what I've learned about pruning and what I've learned about feeding has made that go a lot easier. Now, this is what I was doing wrong. It would put out a shoot, and I'll go, oh, thank God we got a shoot. And it would grow out, and I'd put some wire on it, and then whatever was going on back here would die off, and it would just poof out more on the end. So I'm not trying to keep that and encourage it to do more longer. Wasn't successful. And what I was seeing was less and less growth by the year. So that's whenever I got with the program and we started feeding the tree. The tree loathes a little bit of plant food, and it also really liked these prunings that I'm doing. At the ends of all these shoots, the tree has decided that those shoots are like the high point for the tree. And so at the ends of those tips is a hormone called auxin. And when you cut these tips, you release the auxin. Release the hounds. No, release the auxin. And when we do that, that tells all the other branches that something has just happened. That something has just happened to that branch that thought it was top dog. That branch that thought that it had everything going for it, that all the other branches was like, well, there's no point in really growing a whole lot. This one over here seems to be top dog. Well, when you cut those, when you release that auxin, all bets are off, and all the that stuff kind of floods the, like if it were a mammal or something, it would be saying those hormones would flood its bloodstream or its circulatory system, and that would induce all kind of further growth. That all has happened since I learned to start feeding and start trimming. Last year, I probably got about 2 or 3 rounds of cut back, let it go, cut back, let it go, cut back, let it go. And that was me kind of trying not to. But if I wouldn't have, it would have elongated. Some of those branches would have elongated out too far. I wouldn't have had any, I wouldn't have turned one into two. But I definitely would have had a bunch of long branches hanging out here that were too long to do anything with. So having just given that guy a little rotate, that's pretty much all I'm going to do to that. When I think I did that to the side that's now facing out when I rotated it around, but that was a month ago. I don't remember for sure, but I know that I don't really have any work to do on that side until I probably swing it back around again. There is 1 or 2 more guys. I should probably clip back on the one next to it, and this is just me taking advantage of the moment. It wasn't as necessary for this guy, but that's got us though. That's that little 2 minutes. And these oaks, I am so happy with their development these last couple of years. Just pruning that, all of that stuff. See, we're just early enough in the year now. It's still cool out. It's like 70-degree day on the 2nd of July or 1st or 2nd of July, somewhere in there. And we've got a lot of summer to grow. We got a lot of summer to grow yet. So I'm going to leave this alone and switch focus to what I was talking about earlier. I've made some adjustments to our seedlings. All right, quit, Pat. All right, I'm going to quit. I've made some adjustments to our seedlings. I took my nylon net and I've dropped it over the top. I think that probably, until further notice, I haven't noticed the doves coming back today. This is 11 pine trees. The 8 that you saw that are in the kitchen could probably hang out there another week or so and then fill in this space. This could probably hang out here another 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and then I can bring it down here in the mix. These guys never seem to get in any trouble with the birds or the animals, and they all seem to do okay here. I always seem to think they'll thrive better there, but it seems to be harsher on, it seems like they run out of water. They kind of run hot, and a little too much wind. Not a lot of too much of anything, but a little too much of several things. So I'm kind of going with the heavier potted trees, and the more stable trees can go on the rail and get all that light. And to this extent, this guy too. But then I'm kind of keeping our seedlings up here, and I'm keeping our mames down here. That seems to be what causes the less problems for in the way of wind, in the way of heat on the pots, and just generally speaking, I think they're probably overall happier there. So those are a couple of little adjustments we've made. The ponderosas are still hanging out there. They've got their little substrate game going. They look like they're doing really well. These little pines here in these larger pots, they're over potted. I don't think those terracotta pots get as hot, and because they're bigger, I don't think they have as much heat problems either. So that's all, that's all pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way that's going there. I've got a little bit of candle work. I could probably bring in sweet pea and maybe do a little candle cutting tonight. Not much. That would be a pretty short video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I could probably do a 15-minute go through and work on simply pea, or possibly we could pull that off on the. It's time to start getting ready to do the needles, to do the needle work, and the candles on this 17 year from seed. But that's just where I'm going to hold that back there. I didn't need the big pruners like I didn't think I would. We've cut back some old branches that we have weaned ourselves off of. We just don't need the pom-poms anymore. This much of it looks to be doing okay, so it's not a total loss. Also, cutting that end off will probably cause that to back bud more. And if that happens, we will have still won. If not, I'll cut it back even more, and we'll get more shoots coming out of there. I can replace that. The step that I was hanging on to for fear of losing anything, I'm now not waiting on. If it can't produce, we clip it and let something else take its place. That's how well this is all working. So, yeah, like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. We'll do another spot. We'll put one of these trees. We'll put a pine tree probably on the bench tonight, and do a little work on it. I think I've already cut that back. I think I like where that's going. So the idea is to let all of this stuff that you see me cutting back, the idea is to let it grow a long way. But I want to keep cutting it back before it gets long and let it build fuller density. We want it to be out to here, but we want it to take a minute. We don't want it to just grow a bunch of shoots out to here. We want to get there in a minute, and we want to get there by turking 1 into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, 8 into 16, instead of just growing a long shoot. But that's all going really well. I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy with all of that. All right. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Like I said, our next spot will be tonight. We'll drag something in and work on it. And then we'll got all day Sunday to enjoy the rest of this little, this is almost a holiday weekend. We got the 4th of July rolling up. I'm going to slide back into work on Monday just to poke my head in. But other than that, we're going to just be working on projects and trees and the balcony and loving life. Thank you so much for watching.